Hello, and welcome back to the Divided We Fall podcast. I'm Jake Stratton.
And I'm Greg Beatty.
And I'm Lindsay.
And today we're going to go through a bunch of different topics, starting with one you probably have heard of a lot of recently. Might be getting annoying, but it's very interesting. The Gamestock stock controversy going on. Lindsay, you were especially interested in talking about this, so I'll let you take over.
I am so interested in talking about this one, between what happened just in general, but also the slander that's happened on the news, the subreddit, Wall Street Bets, and just everything. I'm just fascinated by this. So, if you don't know already, basically what happened is in January, these people on the subreddit called Wall Street Bets decided to cause a short squeeze on a hedge fund by the name of Melvin Capital, I believe. It was Melvin something. And basically they short squeezed them, and then stock skyrocketed, plummeted back down to earth a few days ago, and now it's about $50 a share. And what I find especially interesting with this case is that throughout this entire debacle, the Wall Street Bets subreddit became a place, it changed its meaning, because originally the subreddit was meant for people to just invest in general, but it became strictly about GameStop, and now everywhere you look in that subreddit, even today, it's just exclusively GameStop. And what I also find interesting is the smear campaign from the media about these people on this subreddit, saying all of these very nasty things about them. And even the wealthy joined in on this campaign to smear them. Like someone by the name of Leon Cooperman went on CNBC, and he tried to say that these people were playing a loser's game who don't have any idea what they're doing, so they have no real interest in the market. And he said, and I quote, "It's just a way of attacking wealthy people." And you know what? I think it's inappropriate. We've all got to work together and pull through.
Yeah,
so, what are your thoughts?
Just a way of attacking the wealthy. Because they're so oppressed. Oh no. Multi-billion dollars. So
it's like dumb.
Yeah.
So dumb.
So I'm not super knowledgeable about this, but what I only know wasn't there a third party group that helped these people on Reddit even get involved with the stock market? Wasn't it Robinhood, or am I getting that wrong?
I know a lot of the people from the Reddit used Robinhood, and when Robinhood had shut down buying GameStop stock, I believe over 50% of people on Robinhood at that point had owned at least one share of GameStop. So it wasn't caused by Robinhood. The squeeze was caused by the people on this Reddit page, but a lot of these people from this Reddit page used Robinhood.
Yeah, just to clarify, because I've heard a lot on the news, just when I'm driving, I heard about, everyone's probably heard so much about this, and it's probably exhausted at this point, but the whole David and Goliath, the little man taking on the big man, and if you watch Fox News, they're supportive of the people from Reddit and stuff like that. They're yeah, Reddit, get it, and then they're screw Facebook and screw Reddit for trying to take these people down. And then you go to CNN and MSNBC, and they're but the hedge funds, we have to protect the rich people.
It's so funny how hypocritical and flip-flop each side is. Conservatives are usually more of we gotta stick to the system, but we can't enforce the system too hard, but it needs to be in place. And then usually I don't know what I'm saying, but but now and usually the conservatives or Republicans are saying, oh, keep the rich rich, and and they'll help do things with trickle down economy and all that good stuff. And then with liberals and Democrats and stuff like that, are usually, no, get rid of the wealthy. No, we don't. We need to tax the wealthy.
Gotta tax the top 1%. Yeah. Of the 1%.
I know I'm just rambling, but it's so funny to see just people flip as soon as we see that their wealthiness is at risk or something like that.
Well, part of the problem with this whole thing is a bunch of people were let's get together and buy stock. And let's,
completely legal.
I highly doubt these people were thinking, we're going to destroy the stock market, man.
Yeah, they weren't. They weren't expecting it at all. On the Reddit page, originally they were You can go through it. I've been stalking it for the past like 2 weeks now. They're all like, I'm not a financial expert. I just like the stock. And they're like, we're going to the moon. We're going past the moon. We're going out of the galaxy. You know, they just like the stock. You know, they weren't planning on doing any harm until they realized, oh wow, Melvin Capital has shorted 140% of this stock. We can do a squeeze.
So I going back to like the David and Goliath thing, the whole thing, like you see also a lot of politicians now claiming like, oh, this could possibly be illegal. You have news organizations being like, this is illegal. This isn't illegal.
Not at all.
This is a game that you decided to play when you had organized groups working on the inside saying, hey, let's just keep it to ourselves. And when outsiders say, oh, I like what's going on in here, and they congregate themselves to the stock market, then you get controversy.
Like, people are like, buy stocks. Stocks are, where it's at. People start buying stocks. Wait, hold on. Don't buy stocks. Wait a minute. That's illegal. Don't buy my stocks. Buy someone else's stocks, kind of thing.
It's just sad. And the best part about all of it is, for the first time ever, AOC, Ted Cruz, and Donald Trump Jr. agreed on something. They agreed that Robinhood shutting down trades was effed up.
Yeah, I did see that. I thought that was I thought that was super interesting. And I mean, I'm glad that this is probably the one thing that I could probably ever agree with AOC on. Like, at least she might start, having a head on her shoulders that is smart. Now, I personally think that she is a very weak-minded individual, if you know what I mean. But, she's doing good there. Ted Cruz.
I just like watching her play Among Us.
Ted Cruz is Ted Cruz is a very smart individual. And I think this was a good place for the left and the right to come together in Congress. And then AOC goes, what about the murder attempt on my life, Ted Cruz? You attempted murder on me. Okay. Can we just come together for a hot sec? Can we talk about the stocks and how the little guy can actually participate in a rich man's game?
We're getting sidetracked. We're talking about AOC now.
Well, I mean, it's kind of, I think I roped it back around a little bit. But, yeah, like, what's confusing to me is people claiming now that it's illegal for these individuals to have done this. Facebook and Reddit is now, aren't they taking down these sites and these organizations that are trying to work with each other to buy stocks and things like that?
I'm not sure, but I do know that they shut down the Wall Street Bets Discord, but they made a new one, and that one is still up. Very interesting stuff posted there, by the way. Many copy pastas about Dogecoin.
Yeah, I was going to say the one thing that people want to understand is that you delete a subreddit, 2 more will grow. Like, it's a hydra on the internet. Like, you take out the Discord, that's not going to stop them.
Reddit is a cesspit.
Yeah.
The rats multiply down in there. But yeah, so one thing that I also had a question about, Lindsay, maybe you can answer this. I feel like it kind of, like, the whole idea of the Gamestock kind of paused and no one's really talking about it anymore. Do you have any idea where it's going at the moment, like with the controversy and all that stuff? Do you have any idea where that's going?
So people were speculating that Melvin and Capital lied to the public on the 26th of January about selling their shorts, or, like, repaying them. But it turns out they actually did repay a majority of them. So they did lose money. I believe they went from $12 billion to $8 billion.
Holy shit.
Yeah, they lost a lot.
That's a lot of money.
After that came more to light, the Gamestock stock has dramatically crashed. I think its peak was around 400, and currently it's at 50.
Yeah. Well, it's better than the 625 it was at, right?
People were aiming for $69,420.69 per share. They were like, we're going past the moon.
Oh my gosh. That would be incredible.
So, Lindsay, is there any other information on the Gamestock that you haven't already put forward?
Not really. I just think it's funny that the hedge funds and the rich were trying to defend themselves by saying that what was happening was illegal, when in reality, the normal people are just playing into a game that the rich have always been able to play into, and they're finally getting some kind of gain from it.
Yeah, what's even I like what you said. It's funny. This is going to be the biggest, or one of the biggest memes of 2021. Like, the people completely screwing the corporations of the big businesses and stuff like that. Like, it's funny to just know that we do have power in a way, and when we do something that help us, people can get mad about it. And they don't like it, and they start acting like children. Like, no, you can't touch my stocks. No.
Like, one of my biggest things is, free and fair trade, free and fair elections, things like that. Free and fair, no real interventionism. But the government is basically in the pockets of these big Wall Street donors, these big corporations, these big, shareholders. And when these individuals cozy up to the politicians will be like, you know what? Yeah, it's okay for us to tell people not to be in the stock market. We'll investigate, and we'll basically say, no, you know what? Hedge fund managers, you're the good guys. Politicians now are so in bed with these big money individuals that it's no longer about free and fair in the stock market. It's completely corrupt at this point. It's, we own this, the big money donors, the hedge funds, the CEOs. We own the stock market. If you try and get involved in the stock market, we're going to throw a hissy fit and we're going to cry. But yeah, I think it's important for people now, moving forward, to get involved in the stock market, or completely pull out of the stock market and get involved in Bitcoin. Get involved in cryptocurrencies, and completely say, screw it to Wall Street. Who cares? Like, yes, that might send a shock to the economy, but it'll also tell people at the top, people down at the bottom don't really care anymore what they have to say or what they think. And I think that's super important.
Are you implying that people should invest in Dogecoin?
What is Dogecoin? I'm going to be honest, I've never fully understood.
I'm glad you asked.
Oh, God.
Isn't it something that, like, if Elon Musk mentions it, like, the stocks go down? Isn't that, like, isn't that, like, how it goes?
All I know is Dogecoin is based off of the early 2000s meme Doge. And it's a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, and it's always been notoriously low. But I believe it shot up around when Gamestock shot up, like a day or two after it hit like its peak, and then everyone bailed.
Get out!
I don't even know what it's at now. It's so funny that even peaked, period.
I just don't understand.
It's like Bitcoin, but for dumb people.
What I find funny is that, like, after this was all over the news, people like my brothers or my brother and people like the news are like, oh yeah, I invested in Gamestock, and then specifically my brother's like, yeah, I lost $5. I lost a couple money because it just plummeted. So it was funny. I think we're going to move on to our next topic. Greg actually wanted to talk about this one. It's pretty relevant in all times, really, not just current, like the GameStop situation. Greg, take it away.
So this is a dangerous precedent that can be set among individuals in the House of Representatives. Many of you might have heard this in the news. Marjorie Taylor Greene, the freshman congresswoman from Georgia, District 14, is possibly being removed from her committees for things she said in the past on things like Twitter and in person. She is a huge supporter of QAnon. If you don't know what QAnon is, it is a conspiracy theory group that are insane. The individuals of that group believe in a lot of very bizarre things. Taylor Greene has stated in the past that she truly believes that 9/11 was an inside job. She believes that California forest fires that were back in the beginning of 2020 were caused by space lasers sponsored by the Jews.
What about Australia?
Maybe that was the Jews too. We'll ask her next time. So the House of Representatives, the Democrats in the House of Representatives are trying to push through. I don't know if the vote happened yet or not. By the time this video goes out, it might have already happened, and we might have to update you guys on Facebook or on TikTok.
Yeah, all our videos go out on Sunday too.
Yeah, so all our videos are going to be out on Sundays. So if any updates on the story occur, check out our Facebook and our TikTok just in case, so we're giving you accurate information. She is... the House is trying to hold her accountable for her words. Some of the things she said is not inciting violence, but it's a little bonkers.
Yeah, it's...
She's now stepping back. On Thursday, she spoke for about 10 minutes, and she's trying to roll back on what she said. She said, and this is a quote from her, I also want to tell you 9/11 absolutely happened.
Yes, it did.
Is that something that she... Never mind.
Another thing that she believed that the Parkland shooting was fake. She believed that it didn't happen.
How?
Now, like I said, today she rolled back. She's saying all of the things she said in the past. She has grown from that. And she's moving on. We're moving forward. So what do you guys... Have you guys heard of this? What do you guys think?
This is like the first I'm hearing of it. This woman sounds insane.
Yeah, she's pretty crazy. I mean, I do know... I know she's done two things, at least fairly recently. First, I know she yelled at one of the Parkland shooters. What's his name? Like David Hoagland? David Hoagland?
Oh, David Hogg.
She yelled at him, screaming some very not nice things to his face. Something about the shooting being fake or something, or his trauma not being real. And very recently, she and her staff berated Cori Bush in a hallway, I believe in the Capitol, and she was not wearing a mask, and Cori Bush is now moving her office away from Greene.
Huh.
That's all I know.
What do you think? Do you have anything?
Nothing absolutely factual. Everything I have to say is opinion based.
Yeah, go
She
for
just
it.
sounds crazy. How do you think a shooting is faked? Like, do you think the person who did it was just, haha, like, no. Like, they faked their mental illness? That's just...
I mean, I could explain it probably.
Please, dude. I need to understand.
Well, apparently there was a sect before QAnon even existed that believed that the Parkland shooting was fake.
So
the Alex Jones.
Oh.
Alex Jones didn't believe Parkland was real.
Okay. I get where they get it from.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, the main evidence that they had was the people who were speaking about the Parkland shooting on the news looked like people who had spoken at other disastrous events, like, what was it, the bombing at one of those, that one bombing at the one race?
Oh, the
Boston bombing and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, the people looked similar, so they were like, hey, Parkland never happened, and these people who were talking about it were paid actors.
Yeah,
That's what they think.
Yeah, I think they were called, like, distress or emergency actors or something like that.
Yeah, that's an interesting topic.
Yeah.
There's, like, that's an actual thing that people have noticed.
Circling back to my original point of it kind of being a dangerous precedent. Now the Republicans in the House want to remove Maxine Waters from all of her committees for actually inciting violence. She, back during the Trump administration, said, we need to get into the faces of these Trump supporters and people of his cabinet. If we see them in stores, tell them no and kick them out and things like that, and inciting her supporters and other Americans to go out and harass Trump supporters and people in Trump's cabinet, and people did do that. There are videos of some individuals from Trump's cabinet being screamed at restaurants. And things like that. So now the Republicans are saying, once we get control of the House, if you take off Marjorie Greene from her committees, we're taking Maxine Waters off the committees. Now, is that the right thing to do? No. Should you just have a revenge removal? No. But I do think if they're going to set this precedent of looking into individuals in the House of Representatives and saying you are not fit to be on this committee, maybe Maxine Waters is a good idea to be looked into. Now, I'm not saying do it. I think maybe just ignore the whole process at the moment. Just say House of Representatives, throw it out. I don't know what's best. I'm not, an expert on this. But I think if they're going to proceed with this and Marjorie Taylor gets removed, I think Maxine Waters should be investigated. And other congressmen and congressmen and women should also be investigated for inciting violence or inciting harassment and things like that.
I think if people, just politicians specifically, are honest and say, hey, I did this without a cancel culture movement coming out first, they have a better chance of not being removed than being removed.
What do you think, Lindsay?
All I want to know is, what district does this woman represent? Because this wouldn't have happened if they didn't elect someone who's a QAnon supporter. Who does she represent?
She represents, I believe, District 14 of Georgia.
How did this woman get elected? This wouldn't have happened if she didn't get elected.
District 14 of Georgia. I mean, she was in hot water even before the whole QAnon thing, when that stuff came out, for stuff that she was saying. She just seems to like to stir the pot by the looks. She just wants to create chaos.
I don't know. It's the will of the people, but sometimes the will of the people isn't always a good thing.
I mean, that's why we're a representative democracy, or a representative republic, rather, and not a direct democracy. So, because the will of the people sometimes isn't in their best interest.
The Jewish space lasers are coming, guys. Run! The forests are going to catch on fire.
Fear the Jewish space lasers. But yeah, so that's what's going on with her. Like I said, this is an ongoing story. I'm looking at sites right now, and there are articles coming out basically every half hour. The article I was reading was from a Washington Post. Excuse me, Washington Post. That was about 30 minutes ago. The one just came out 8 minutes ago, 17 minutes ago, 21 minutes ago. Things are happening very quickly with this story. So check out our Facebook and our TikTok. We will have more information there if anything changes with this. So I think we'll move on from this topic real quick. What we will talk about, we're going to go into more depth next episode, but I think that since this is a current event episode, this is a very current event for individuals in Pennsylvania. Governor Wolf, we talked about him last time.
Yeah.
Governor Wolf wants to increase taxes among all Pennsylvanians and increase spending for education. And
what education?
Yeah, what's education? What are they spending it on? Teachers unions are fighting so hard, tooth and nail, and this is something I'm very passionate about. They're fighting tooth and nail to keep schools closed. School boards, at least with, are fighting tooth and nail to open up the school.
Yeah.
Parents just want to send their kids back. There is no correlation in other countries of increased spikes in COVID. But for some reason, it's not safe to open schools. Dr. Fauci said, open the schools, close the bars.
Don't listen to Dr. Fauci.
But don't listen to Dr. Fauci on most things, but to quote him, open the schools, close the bars. If you believe Dr. Fauci, he wants to open schools. Biden apparently wants to open schools, but he wants to do it safely. I'm doing air quotes, safely.
Yeah.
But when are we going to open the schools? This is such an important developmental point in students' their mental development that they're not learning these social skills. Elementary school, middle school, and high school is so important for students and so important for young adults and young people to learn how to interact in society and among other people. We're raising an entire generation of students, because if this whole lockdown thing keeps going, we're raising an entire generation of students to not know how to interact among people other than sitting at a computer looking at a screen as people talk at them.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I just rambled. What do you guys think?
I don't know. The next best excuse for not coming to work is, oh, my internet's not working.
I don't know. It's such a hard topic for me because, like, I know, like, in elementary and middle schools, it's important for, like, social skills. But at the same time, I don't trust, like, a 9-year-old to keep their mask on or to not cough on people. And I feel like people are going to cough on each other as a joke because, you know, kids are stupid.
Yeah.
And, like, high school, like, I don't even know with high school. I feel like it'd be all right to open that. With college, I'm so conflicted because on the one hand, I want to stay safe and like I don't trust people. I'm very overly cautious about COVID, so like I wouldn't feel safe going back. But at the same time, like I'm not learning on Zoom, especially like completely asynchronous classes. Oh, I'm not learning anything.
No.
Nothing. Nothing.
I have a couple periods where the teachers just kind of give up, and while it's supposed to be synchronous learning, they don't teach us anything. They're just kind of giving us notes, expecting us to know what's happening, and we end up teaching ourselves, which is not very efficient for a topic like, for example, computer science. That subject is very difficult when you have multiple functionalities for each little thing that you learn about. And everything works differently with each other. And that's just not computer science. That's many other subjects that are in a bunch of schools, not just in Pennsylvania. I think this is just Pennsylvania right now, though, right?
This is just Wolf wanting to do this.
Right, but him doing this could influence other states to want to do this if this gets passed, which would be very bad, especially because...
It's going to get dead on arrival once it reaches Congress, okay, but the fact that he even wants to do this...
Right, but it's... The fact that the school situation itself, within itself, the domestic school situation, like councils not even knowing what to do with the unions is horrible. We haven't even figured it out. My mother's taken like 30 surveys on, do you want to take your kid into school, out of school, hybrid, come in this week, that week, this day, not this day, oh, he's feeling sick, oh, well, he can come in 5 weeks later. Like, it's all over the place.
Like, there are teachers, I also recommend, I got a lot of my information, he does the exact same thing, John Stossel. If you don't know who he is a libertarian podcaster on YouTube, Facebook, etc. He found posts on Twitter and things of these like people in teachers unions saying it's unsafe for me to come into work, I could die, while she's sitting on a beach while she's posting it in Miami or wherever she was. It's not dangerous enough for you to go to work, or it's too dangerous for you to go to work, but it's not dangerous enough for you to go sit on a beach and travel the country.
I bet the conditions of school are way safer than they are on a beach.
Like, one of the things that just completely boggles my mind when it comes to this whole thing is it's no longer about safety. There are videos of teachers saying, if I die, put my body outside the school so they know.
Make a bench out of me.
Like there are teachers who are saying these things, but they don't care because they get paid regardless of whether they teach or they don't teach. Yeah. They get paid whether it's in person, not in person, whether they're teaching on a weekly basis or not, because the teachers unions are so bloated and disgusting that they are just controlling basically your child's education for no reason. Like, yes, I understand teachers need to have a say in how the school is run. I believe they should have a say. But when it's putting a detriment on the students, you are now at fault, teachers. You who are allowing the teachers unions to do this, you're doing it. You're hurting students now. And I say that with full force. I hope I offend someone with that. Because maybe, if any teachers are listening, they'll turn around and they'll be like, okay, maybe I did do something wrong. You're hurting students, and the only thing that you can do to stop this madness is go back to school and teach students. No one's learning this way, whether it's educationally, whether it's socially, or whether it's how to even apply for a job and to communicate with human beings. No one's learning anything.
And what's such a shame is that I have a couple teachers that are actually trying their hardest, their damn hardest, to make sure kids are doing okay. I will say my English teacher, I'm not going to say her name, but my English teacher, bless her heart, she is putting in the work. She is trying so hard. She's managing these in-school kids, these online kids so well that I am actually learning. I'm reading Hamlet and I am actually enjoying it. Way more than I would if I were actually in school.
You're enjoying Hamlet, really?
Yes, it's actually kind of interesting.
Inconceivable.
Are you okay?
Okay, you don't understand. In the PowerPoint notes, she put memes everywhere. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. They were funny. She has a sense of humor because she's young. I will get canceled for that later, but I don't care.
Like,
I think I know who your teacher is, but I'll ask you later.
but like for instance, like Lindsay said, and I want to get Lindsay to put some 2 cents in here, but I know I'm going to ramble on, so I just want to finish this one thought real quick because it ties into what Lindsay was talking about earlier. I'm in 5 classes at my university. Out of all of my classes, I have one class that's 20 students, the rest are over 100, right? My class that is over 100 students had 22 people in it today. It's a synchronous course. It is not mandatory to be in the Zoom, but it's a synchronous course. And they were lecturing. My other class today, now granted it was a vampire class, so it's a little bit of a joke, but it's still a class I'm taking. Close to 100 students, we had 80 students in there. Now that's not as drastic as the 20, but students aren't showing up to class.
Yeah.
College students aren't showing up to class. God forbid if you're in high school. If you're a senior, sorry, Jacob. And sorry to the seniors last year. This is not how you learn. You guys missed out on prom. You guys missed out if you go on a senior trip.
Yeah.
Like, this is, like, I understand, like, with COVID, you can't really travel, but at least have students in school. At least if you're going to host college, don't email your transfer students. I got an email, thank you, university, saying, please don't come back to campus. Please stay home. I want to be on campus right now. I guarantee, like, Lindsay, I don't want to speak for you, but I mean, I'd assume you'd want to be on campus, right?
100%. Yeah, I miss campus a lot. Like, on the one hand, I'm at home, I'm making money, I'm working, and I'm saving money too by not having to pay like rent. But on the other hand, like, I miss the independence of being there.
Yeah. So, like, I know we rambled on for a while, but this is another topic. We're going to go into it more next week when more comes out with this whole thing. And we're going to have more...
This is a specific topic that all 3 of us, I think, could just go on for forever.
Oh, wait. May I add my 2 cents as well?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So, I know, like, more and more nowadays, kids are getting diagnosed with various mental illnesses, and I can tell you from my personal experience, having multiple mental illnesses, such as ADHD, it is impossible for me to just sit in front of my computer and watch someone. I cannot. And being in person, like, you're in that environment, it's so much easier to listen and understand and grasp what's happening. Through a computer, I'm just like, okay, I'm going to play a video game while my lecture is going on, because I literally cannot focus for this long. It is impossible. And it's even more impossible for completely asynchronous classes. Like, I'm taking one this semester, entirely asynchronous, no lecture videos. It's just daily modules on Canvas with textbook readings, and you write about what you read.
Terrible.
No midterm, no final, no nothing. That's
Terrible.
it.
That's not
my
learning.
Class.
That's not
learning.
No,
I have no idea what's happening in that class. No idea.
Like,
I can't even focus on anything for more than 10 seconds. It's impossible.
What you just said can get me going for another 30 minutes. We're going to have to wrap this one up. We're going on for a little bit of a longer video today. But yeah, I want to thank everybody again for checking us out and watching. Again, see us next week. We're going to go more in depth on the whole school situations here in Pennsylvania. And check us out on TikTok and Facebook for more updates.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.